Welcome to Outlaw Librarians, Jailbreaking the Modern Library, a Peoria Public Library podcast, where we bend and break the rules of the old-fashioned library. Listen while we talk about how librarians are breaking the stereotype of boring, stuffy libraries. Welcome to Peoria Public Library's podcast, Outlaw Librarians. We're here with podcast number 18, YA, the dark horse of book genres. Today we're talking to Karla. Welcome, Karla.
Hello. Thank you for having me.
Well, I'm glad you're here with us. What is your history with PPL? What's your job title? How long have you been with Peoria Public Library?
I started here in February of 2009. I started at Lakeview, and then in 2011, summer of 2011, I moved downtown to the main library to work in the programming department, which was a new department at the time.
Yeah.
And so now my official title is Programming Librarian.
Okay. So you've been there ever since?
Yes.
Okay. So we have a YA for Adults book club, right?
Yes.
Why did you think the YA for Adults book club was a good idea, something that would be worth doing?
The idea started when I was at Lakeview because I saw what people were checking out. That was before self-checks when we were checking books out for people.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw a lot of adults, women mostly, checking out young adult fiction. And I liked reading it myself. And then there was also this issue where most of our book clubs, not purposely, but they only have retired members.
Yeah.
The members tend to be older. There aren't book clubs for people in their 20s and 30s, or even 40s, really. So, and that wasn't like anything that was stipulated.
Yeah,
it's just those are the kind of people who tend to gravitate towards book clubs. And so I thought, why not try a young adult book club for adults? It's a little less formal.
Yeah.
It's pretty informal.
Yeah.
And then I specifically said for people in their 20s and 30s. And you'll hear people tell you should never put an age limit on anything, but I wanted to. That was the audience I wanted to attract.
Yeah.
And so I did that, and it's been working pretty well. We've had a good group of people who've been with us. I think this is like our 4th year.
Okay, that's a long time. I just recently joined myself, but I'm enjoying the book club a lot.
Yeah, good.
What would you say to those who flat out say, I don't read YA, YA is not my thing, I will never pick up a YA book?
I think young adult books are becoming more mature. There's a huge gap between like children's literature, what we consider children's literature, chapter books, and adult fiction.
Yeah.
In adult fiction, you're going to find like literary fiction, stuffy kind of stuff. You're also going to find the James Patterson, a new book every month, kind of just light reads.
Mm-hmm.
I think some of the best stories are in young adult literature.
I would agree.
Especially things that are making the jump into mainstream pop culture, like The Hunger Games, which did very well, Divergent, which did well for a little while, and then it didn't do so well. And those are kind of, those are dystopian. Dystopian was huge, and you're not going to see that same kind of stuff in like adult literature. And then if you haven't read a young adult book, like don't be stopped by the label. Yeah. Just because it's young adult doesn't mean you can't read it. They're just fun books. It's lighter, but they can also be really serious. You can get some pretty serious topics that are really important today. One of my favorite books that I've been championing is The Hate U Give, which was a debut book last year. And it's about what happens when a white police officer shoots a young black man who's innocent. It's just a really, really powerful book, and made me think about things that I didn't.
Maybe we don't.
I didn't even know. Yeah. And it's a completely different side of the story, and it's just so good. And so I think.
And it's been picked up for a movie, right?
Yes. Yeah. I just saw.
Cast and.
I just saw a trailer for it. The first trailer for it is out. Yeah. I think October.
Okay. So pretty soon.
Yeah.
In what ways has YA evolved into the popular genre it is today? You were kind of talking about how there's that big gap, but a lot of the people think, back in the 90s, 80s and 90s, it was all that teen angst, high school drama.
Yeah, I think it's also, Another thing that's changed is how we label things. Like Sweet Valley High was maybe like the young adult literature of its time, but that was a serial. I mean, those are being printed one after another. I think the issues that young people face have changed also. Young people today are dealing with far more serious issues than even I was dealing with 15 years ago in high school. Like 15 years ago in high school, yeah, Columbine had happened, but we didn't really worry about a shooting happening in our school. I can't imagine what it would be like to be a high school student now.
Yeah, it's very different.
Yeah, so there are some serious issues that can be talked about in these books. But I also think that if you look at some classic, I'm going to call it classic YA literature, the Anne of Green Gables series, the last book in that series is my favorite all-time book, Rilla of Ingleside, which takes place during World War One, and Rilla starts out as a young, she's seen as this really flighty teenage girl who doesn't care about anything about her looks. And through the course of World War One, she has to really grow up and experience a lot of things that a person her age shouldn't have to experience. And so I think even then, in the early 1900s, teens were dealing with hard issues.
Yeah.
It's just that the issues have kind of changed. Yeah.
Okay. What is your favorite YA genre, or what's your favorite YA book series?
Well, I don't have just one answer to this.
Okay. You like multiple answers.
So, like I said, my favorite all-time book is Rilla of Ingleside. And I wish more people would read it, and I really wish that there was a movie that was true to the book. Like, I think it would be a really great movie. I'm loving fantasy right now. High fantasy, which is more like, royalty and that kind of stuff. Not like, I can do elves and fairies, but they're not like my favorite thing. I also really like historical fiction. Ruta Sepetys wrote Between Shades of Grey, which is World War II. It's a different side of World War II than we've seen. It's about people from Eastern European countries who were sent to work camps in Siberia.
Really? And
it's just so good. She just has a gift with historical fiction. And there's a sequel to that one. It's based on another true story about World War II that we don't know a lot about. So my favorite series, I was thinking of different kinds. I really like the series that starts with The Giver. Lois Lowry. She has, I think there are 4 books in that series now. Yeah. The series that kind of got me really into YA was Maggie Stiefvater's Shiver series, which is about werewolves, and it's silly, but it's so good. Yeah. Also, Megan Whalen Turner has this series that starts with The Thief. She only releases a book like every 5 or so years. It's like George R.R. Martin, like you're waiting for the next book. And that is more like high fantasy. Yeah. And then something that I've really gotten into because of my sister is the Seven Realms series by Cinda Williams Chima. Okay. And that is high fantasy, but it's a matriarchy instead of a patriarchy. Heard of that series. So it's queens, and even if the queen has a son, her daughter inherits the throne. But there's so much more to it. There's wizards and all this kind of stuff. And then a new series that is a continuation of that, Shattered Realms. Okay. So that's really good too. I'm really into the fantasy right now, so I don't have a lot of contemporary favorites right now, but it changes all the time. Yeah.
Okay, last question. What is on your nightstand? What are you currently reading?
Well, I'm currently reading the latest book in the Shattered Realms called Stormcaster. Okay. And that's by Cinda Williams Chima. This series is more about like the wizards, the mages, some fun stuff. Yeah. I also occasionally I'll throw in I really like David Baldacci. Yeah. He writes some good adult thrillers, so I'll throw one of those in there. So I have that on next. Then I have to read the next book for our book club. Yep. Which is Chaotic Good. I can't remember the author.
Me neither.
I bet it's good though.
Oh yeah, I have it already. I haven't started reading it though. But yeah. Okay. Well, thank you, Karla, for joining us. Thank you, everyone, for joining Peoria Public Library podcast, Outlaw Librarian, YA, the dark horse of book genres. Thank you. Thanks for listening to us here on Outlaw Librarians, Jailbreaking the Modern Library, a Peoria Public Library podcast. We strive to break the rules and laws of the old silent libraries and make them fun and exciting again. We hope you enjoyed listening and learning about the new noisy rules of libraries. You're a daisy! The Show Must Be Go by Kevin MacLeod, Incompetech.com, licensed under Creative Commons by Attribution 3.0. Website http://creativecommons.org/licenses/by/3.0/